So, hey everybody, it's Dawn Whitaker. Welcome to another episode of Dreams Unveiled. I think one times I actually called it Dreams Revealed, and then I'm like, maybe that's a better name, but we'll stick with Dreams Unveiled. Today, my very special guest and longtime friend Amy is going to share a dream that I think will be a real benefit to everybody because it's a dream almost every adult has had if they remember their dreams. So, with no further ado, I'm going to introduce Amy.
Hey
Amy,
guys.
Amy, what is your temperature where you are in North Carolina?
Right now it says 84.
Oh, so us in central New York and surrounding areas can be ridiculously jealous of that. We
It's
know it's
supposed to be
coming.
87, but I don't
Oh,
know if it's going to get to 87 today.
bummer.
I know it.
I know we have 50 and I'm like, I want to go outside. And 50 is really not that warm. But for us right now, it's very warm.
It is, yep.
Hey, I'm 50 and I'm hot.
And
Okay,
yes,
you keep telling yourself that.
and Bill Whitaker piping in, who does all of our video editing, is my husband, puts up with me, and I couldn't do this without him. In fact, it was his idea. I wouldn't be doing it without him. I really never gave it a thought. So he's in the background, in the faraway background. But anyway, right now, Amy, it's so nice to have you.
Well, thank you for having me.
And if you could share your dream, we will get started.
All right. Well, let me put my old glasses on here and I will get to it. You want me to just start right out reading it?
That will be fine. Unless you have anything you want to add, go ahead.
Okay, well, I will read what I sent to you. Basically, I've had this dream over several years. Lately, I've had it maybe about 4 times so far this year. The dream starts where I'm in my high school, and I know it's the one that I graduated from. For some reason, I know this in my dream. It's the first day of school, and I've locked my schedule in my locker, and I can't remember my locker combination to be able to see my schedule. So I don't really know who my teachers are, what room I'm supposed to be in. So I just go to whatever class that I happen to be passing by before the bell rings. I just go whatever into whatever room. I don't know anybody in the classes, but yeah, I've gone to school with all of the students. I can't find my way to the guidance office, and the principal, every time I ask for help, he kind of ignores me. When I tell him I can't get to my schedule, so then in my dream, I'm sitting in the restroom, like it seems like every day for the whole entire year. Then when the school year is over, they tell me that I missed the whole year, and I wake up feeling very upset.
This is a very common dream, and I think people will be able to relate to it. The idea of anything reoccurring is very simply a matter of unresolved something. So I had a dream once, and it was not a bad dream, but I was really looking for something, this beautiful place, and I would get part of the way there, and then I couldn't find it, that kind of a thing.
Mm-hmm.
Pretty much any dream like we're talking about, anxiety is the primary emotion that is elicited in the dream. So this is about things that are causing us some kind of stress or anxiety. The great thing about a reoccurring dream is you can use it to gauge your success in resolving or handling whatever the problem is, if it is a problem.
Mm-hmm.
It could be as simple as getting on a new path, starting a new chapter, gaining direction. It could be anything like that. So, how you handle things will very much be represented in how often you're having the dream. When the dream goes away, then the problem is resolved typically. So, with that said, and there's no always and never to dreaming, this is just most of the time. So, let's go through and take a look at your dream. And what I'm going to do is break it into pieces, okay? So,
Mm-hmm.
let's start with the first part of your dream. First part of your dream is you go into school, you can't remember your locker combination, and your schedule's in there, so you don't know where to go. Now, interesting, in some versions of this dream, people can't find their locker at all. So, but it's pretty much the same thing. Our minds choose the imagery that we see. Not having your schedule, I think, really represents being very unprepared,
Hmm.
as you can imagine.
Yeah.
It could out of control, not having control over the situation, at a loss, anything like that. It could be that you need clarity in whatever the situation is. So right off the bat, that this dream is representing where you're feeling a bit out of your element, uncertain. It's a lot of those unwords.
Right.
And that really is all that means. So, so far, does that make sense to you?
Yeah, it does.
And I ask that because, and I probably say it in every episode, this has to resonate with you. My
Hmm.
interpretation is only in a suggested interpretation. If this doesn't have any meaning to you, then it's wrong.
Oh, no, it definitely does.
Okay, super. It could be you're in a new transition in your life. And I think one of the things as we are, grow up, one of the things that happens as we get older is transition becomes harder and harder to handle. We get very comfortable,
Hmm.
in an expectation, especially when we've done things a certain way for a long time. So
Right.
that could very well be this, it could be your recognition that you're in a new place and you're just feeling overwhelmed and uncertain about the boundaries and stuff because it takes us a long time to establish that. So it could be that
Right.
you started to just go to any old classroom because you didn't have a schedule and you couldn't get help.
Hmm.
So I could tell you that with near certainty, going into these classrooms where you say in the dream you recognize your school, deep down you know all the people in your school, you know who the people are, but you're walking into unfamiliar faces in the classroom. You don't know who
Yeah.
the students are. That it to me shows that you feel disconnected. And it could be disconnected from the people that I know you had some changes with employment. It could be disconnection with people or a way of life or how you used to do things. So people, places, and things. But it definitely represents disconnection,
Hmm.
and most typically people.
Right.
Not being able to find the guidance office, that's kind of a typical thing too. So I think the big message there is you feel unsupported. It doesn't mean that, people aren't around you supporting you. I know you have a good support system, but you feel very like you're out there kind of alone, waiting for somebody to throw.
A lifeline.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
exactly that. Now the bathroom part's interesting, and I'll talk about this uh, briefly because hiding in the bathroom for a whole semester. Can you imagine in real life if that could happen? Wouldn't it be crazy?
It would, for
Um,
sure.
so my guess is there's only a couple things that really could represent. One of them is obvious avoidance. It
Hmm.
could be avoidance. The other thing is that it's just you feel so overwhelmed by the situation, you're just hiding, which is really avoidance, but it's really more specific. I think it goes back to not feeling connected. And so you really don't know how to navigate this newness. And so that lack of connection. So I do think in this situation, it is avoidance and hiding, but it's really because, even though you have a lot of skills and it may be great, you're not sure how to navigate this.
Hmm.
So far, okay?
Yep.
And I did warn you, this is a pretty commonplace thing.
Yeah.
This actually was easy, but I wanted to really share this dream because it's something so many people have. Now, the falling because or failing as a result of being in the bathroom. It's too bad your teachers just didn't bring your schoolwork, but you didn't know who they were.
I can't believe I went and sat in classrooms that I didn't know that they didn't know wasn't supposed to be in. I mean, so crazy.
Well, and I say this a lot, but just in case yours is the only video that people watch, when we are it's dreaming, the part of the brain that's active during dreams, that's really active, is going to be the hippocampus, which is your memory area,
Mm-hmm.
the amygdala, which in the emotional part of your brain. Anxiety, by the way, is the greatest emotion felt during dream state.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and then your visual ability. So your language centers, all of that stuff is kind of sleeping. It doesn't mean that it's not participating. Every once in a while you can read something or you really become very aware of language in a dream, but typically that's the less active part. One of the theories as to why we forget our dreams so quickly when we wake is because our brain, the parts of the brain that have been not awake suddenly wake up and we're using our brain in a different overall
Mm,
capacity. So that may be why we don't often remember. This dream, though, is pretty vivid to you every time you have it, a reoccurring dream. One thing that with reoccurring dreams or dreams in general is they actually support our emotional memory. In other words, when we dream, it strengthens our emotional memory about those circumstances. So even in waking life, research has shown that things that you've dreamed, or even just dreaming, even if you don't remember it, is actually strengthening your emotional memory.
mm,
But when you have a reoccurring dream, it's very easy for that to get kind of etched in there a bit. So now we have the part about you failed because you're hanging out in the bathroom.
yeah.
And I think that, that could be feeling like, and this is probably where resolution needs to happen for you with most of this, is really tearing that apart and feeling, were you not active in a solution? Were there things that you should have done and you didn't? How do you feel about that? It's okay that there are things that there may be things like that, but how does it make you feel? Do you feel like you had a loss, had a failure, or do you feel you did everything the way that you should? And when I'm saying this, I know there's particular things now, but every time you have the dream, the first thing when you wake up with this dream is think to yourself, what's going on now? And I would actually just kind of
Right.
make a note of that because it's going to be changing. This is your mind's way of saying, we need to resolve this. And it could be just resolving how you feel about something. It doesn't necessarily mean some drastic change. I
Mm-hmm.
mean, if you're having the dream because you're having anxiety because you lost a relationship because you hurt somebody, okay? And you could actually really go through, the dream may go away after you maybe repair the relationship. But if that can't be repaired, it may be just when you come to terms with how you feel about it, with your role in that, the responsibility of it. And that may actually be the end of the dream for that particular thing.
Right.
If you had four of these in 1 year, and so it likely is not four different things, but it could be. Truly, it could be. We can't really judge that. So the other thing is taking a look. Where does my responsibility lie? Do I have responsibility? May not. Like I said, it may be just the resolution may be about how you feel, could be about
Mm-hmm.
how you behaved, could be about how other people behaved, but maybe now you have issues with that. So it's something like that. That is where you need to spend your time and really think about things and where they're going and how that affected how things affected you.
Right.
I think from the dream thing, that's pretty much all I have. Can you relate to any of that? Does that relate to things that,
I can relate to pretty much everything that you said,
okay,
especially like this past year. And then I have had this dream previous years, and then I hadn't had it for a while, and then all of a sudden I'll have it again, and go for quite a while and not have it. But the past year has been a really rough year, and then seeing how I've had it 4 times so far this year, um, I guess my thoughts are just my mind is working overtime on things that I probably maybe should have done different, or just and feeling insecure.
And
And
that could be a very big part of this.
yeah, yeah, just new endeavors and new things that I have not done for quite a while.
So, the insecurity part, we're all insecure,
Mm-hmm.
but sometimes, especially when there's newness,
Right.
it's very easy to feel insecure and to kind of really, and that in the dream, you're talking about a newness, that whole disconnection, even though you may have like people and all of that kind of thing, it doesn't matter. You still kind of feel disconnected because it's so new, especially if you feel insecure. And
Mm-hmm.
so if you're walking away from situations and you're going, I wonder if I did that right. Are they going to be upset with me? That kind of thing. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
that could really be really supporting that disconnect. And it would also support the idea that you may feel unsupported, so these are things, what if here's a great experiment to really go through that dream based on what we talked about, and what's going on in your life right now, and just
Mm-hmm.
go step by step and really come to terms with things. It may be
Right.
nothing you can do anything about, but what this is your thoughts, right? You're
Right.
thinking. A lot of times if we're thinking about things and we start to get kind of in that like little depressed or that place where we're ruminating on things and thinking about it, overthinking a little,
Mm-hmm.
you know, then it may be a good time to really take a look at that and just really kind of put to rest and maybe reframe that, look at it differently. Try and, you know, consider that those thoughts may be what is representing that unresolved part of this.
Mm-hmm.
So now you can sit down and say, I'm going to try and make this dream go away.
Right.
And this whole conversation we're having may have helped. But the great thing is that honestly, I want you to really think how really terrific this is. You have a particular dream that when you're under emotional duress,
Mm-hmm.
a little bit of anxiety, uh, and there are unresolved things that you have a dream that you've had for years representing those times and those situations.
Right.
So when that dream goes away for a while, you know that you may have actually hit some resolution or change that has been a benefit.
So then when I have it again, I know, man, here it comes again.
But now you know what
I
to,
need to make some changes.
yeah, and it could be changes in how you think about things. It could be actual changes. But most of the time, it's real. Everything we dream is in our minds.
Right.
The people, everything. They're all people. No, there's no strangers. It's all there already. It's in our brain. Most of the time, think about feelings and all of that. I want you to do that now and just come to terms with you're on an adventure.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's a sweet adventure. Sometimes it's hard because we don't always want to be on the adventure we're on, but
Yeah.
it's okay.
Definitely has been an adventure.
So try and just really focus on that and really go through and look at your feelings about each and everything.
Right.
Do you have anything else to add?
Well, I mean, I don't know. What do you want me to add?
From my perspective, I have nothing more. It,
Okay.
if you wanted to just had any additional thoughts about your dream or anything, you are welcome to share that. If not, that's okay too.
I mean, you pretty much have hit the nail right on the head with the way things have been going in my life the last probably maybe 10, 11 months. I've had just drastic changes and kind of outside of my comfort zone and outside of the normal of what I'm used to. And explains, it explains a lot.
So for the last 10 months, so keep in
Mhm.
mind, this is a new year and you started to really have it. So pay attention
Right.
since January. That's a good way to remember because we can
Mhm.
always remember there's that cutoff. Okay, now it's a new year, it's after the holidays. And
Right.
see if things have kind of amped up to make you have more insecurity or more anxiety or anything like that.
Yeah, I think it's a lot of the unknown, uncertain of what direction I should actually go in or if I have to make additional changes to what I'm doing right now, presently.
So can
I
I
guess we'll see.
let me ask you a yes, no question, but I want you to answer it quickly, okay?
Yep.
Do you think there are changes you need to make?
Yes.
Okay. So right there, you know that.
Mm-hmm.
So don't tarry. Start really looking at that and have the expectation that you're going to be making changes.
Right.
And I think that'll be a big help. So you're probably having the dream because you know this deep down, but you're not
Yeah.
necessarily desiring or wanting to embark on, closing one door and going in a different direction. But I think the dreams are happening because you know you need to do this.
Right.
And you know what? You can always give me a call and we could chat.
Yep.
And next time I'm down your way, which I wish was tomorrow,
I wish it was too. It's been too long.
I know it really has. It has. But in the meantime, thank you, Amy, for sharing your dream with us.
Of course. Thank you for picking me.
Yeah, well, it was perfect. And I will
Uh,
always pick you.
all right. Well, I appreciate it. I appreciate you and Bill too.
Yep, same. I appreciate you and Bill too.
There you go.
So with that said, thank you, everybody, and we hope that you have sweet dreams. God bless. So, if you had a dream that took place in high school since you've been an adult and something similar to the dream Amy is describing, give us something in the comments or put a like down for us. Thanks.